Good morning and welcome to this week's Ramble. I hope you've had a good week. I certainly have. The weather's been lovely, hasn't it? Although I must admit there seems to be a bit of an edge on the wind, but it's lovely to see so much sunshine. I managed a third attempt to get a haircut. I say the third attempt, every time I went down to the barber shop, there were always long queues. Everyone was desperate for a haircut in Sherborne, but I got there in the end. Anyway, for me, I think probably the highlight of the week, musical highlight certainly, was the Duke of Edinburgh's funeral. I don't know whether you watched it, I'm sure many of you did. It was an extraordinary piece of theatre, as well as a lovely, very touching service, I thought. The military precision was just extraordinary, I thought, just amazing. Nobody does it like the British Army. My neighbour, next door neighbour, well, a little way up the lane there, is retired now, but he used to be the commander-in-chief of the lifeguards who escorted the coffin on the side as it went up the stairs. And he said to me he'd never seen, he said he watched it very carefully, as all military men would have done, and he said it was just amazing. He couldn't find fault in it at all. So high praise indeed. And then the extraordinary challenge for the clergy and for the musicians, only to be allowed to have 4 singers. I just blew me away that. I thought it was quite extraordinary how they did that so well. Lovely choice of music by the Duke. And it was great to hear the Jubilate that we featured last week on this, sung so beautifully. But everything, I didn't know the Psalm 104, but I loved it. Top B flats to the tenor. It just felt very, very intimate, and it did sort of feel like we were just looking in on a service of private grief for the royal family and in particular for the Queen. But I thought it was very, very special indeed, and a wonderful tribute to an incredible man, really. So there we go. History in the making. So, at this point, as I say, I'm stopping Quickfire 5 for the time being, partly so that I can think of some more questions if I go back to it. I'm just giving you some bizarre facts, which I gave you a few last week, and here's a couple more this week. Where shall we start? Beethoven, Ludwig van Beethoven. Did you know that he was so meticulous in everything that he did? Every time he had a cup of coffee, he counted out 60 coffee beans before he made his coffee. Every single time, 60 coffee beans. Edvard Grieg, had a little figurine of a frog, a green frog, which he kept with him all the time in his pocket, and before concerts, he used to rub it for good luck. And one more, which I didn't know this at all. I was reading up about Edward Elgar this week, about something else. And I knew he learnt the violin and played the piano and the organ. But when he was 22, for a short time, he took up the position of bandmaster at the Worcester and County Lunatic Asylum. Now there's a challenge, if ever there was. But that's what he did for a couple of years. Good on him. So, those are my interesting facts for this week. At this point, I tell you about www.swanishteam.com and all the news and views on our team website. It's very exciting for us at St Mary's, as this weekend we shall be returning to choral evensong for the first time in about 4 months. We had a choir practice last week, which worked very well. We're all a little bit rusty, but we got along. And so this week we are starting choral evensong again, and we'll continue to do so unless we're told otherwise. So that's very exciting indeed. I know in the parish this week there have been interviews for the new team vicar in the parish. I haven't heard any results yet. The white smoke hasn't gone up, but no doubt we'll hear quite soon. So exciting times all round. I hope you're able to attend church or to watch online, one way or the other. Hope you can join us. So, to my recommendation of music for this week, I was reading something about Elgar, and it reminded me of a wonderful Easter anthem, another of my real favourites, which I'm going to point you to this week. Elgar wrote at the end of the 19th century, about 1895, 1896. He asked a local clergyman, whose name was Capelcure, that was his surname, to write a libretto for him. He was a very fine writer. And he looked at various subjects, and he decided to write one on the miracle of the blind man being healed by Jesus. And he called it The Light of Life. And it's sort of, in terms of Elgar's output, it's a prelude to those three incredible New Testament oratorios that he wrote: the Apostles, the Kingdom, and then ultimately the Dream of Gerontius. But The Light of Life is sometimes called a cantata. It's quite short. Elgar himself calls it a short oratorio. But it's in about 12 movements, and it tells the story of the blind man. But the final chorus in the whole thing, which is called Light of the World, which is what I'm going to encourage you to listen to. And it's a triumphant expression of faith and the Easter hope, the resurrection. And, it sort of brings a slightly sad story, but amazing story, to a triumphant conclusion. It's very powerful. It's just written in 4 parts. I mean, orchestral accompaniment, but there's an organ accompaniment that's been organised for this as well. Some wonderful Elgarian tunes, but thou didst not disdain to take our low estate. That little moment there, lovely, lovely. You'd know it was Elgar. So many powerful moments indeed. And it really works so well as an Easter hymn of praise, of celebration, of thanksgiving, of triumph. So I'm going to point you to a recording. I'm going to put the text on my email as well. I just encourage you to listen to it and enjoy it. And if you really enjoy that chorus, why not listen to the whole of The Light of Life? It's called The Light of Life. There are a number of recordings. There's a very good one by Richard Hickox from a number of years ago. But give it a whirl and see what you think. Okay, so hope you enjoy that. Now I'm going to go down into my room, I think, and we'll just do a couple of warm-ups and see how we get on. Here we are again, ready to sing. So I'm sitting nice and comfortably, nice and relaxed, feet on the floor, straight back, shoulders down. Do the same if you're standing, just make sure your knees are not locked. Let's just take a few deep breaths. That's the one. Good, and let's do our weekly siren, maybe hopefully your daily siren. Good. So let's start. Let's just hum. Go. All right. Then we go up in steps. Okay. So 3 times round. Put your tongue behind your top teeth and lips slightly apart. So you just feel a sort of buzzing sensation in your nose. Maybe a bit louder. One more. Jolly good. And now let's do our ya, 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 ya. Off you go. Ya, 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 ya. Ya, 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 ya. Ya, 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 ya. Keep that jaw nice and relaxed. Ya, 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 ya. Ya, 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 ya. Ya, 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 ya. ya 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 ya. Last one. Ya 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 ya. And now let's do some scales going down. Mezzo forte. Let's sing to ka with a kicking K. Ka 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 ka. 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 And now we're just legatos. Ah. I'll leave you to it. G major. A flat. And the last one. Did you manage the top notes all right? I hope so. You'd be better than me. I'm a bit crusty this morning, but there we go. Anyway, I'm looking out the window. It's a lovely morning. So once I've edited this, I'm going to go out for a nice long walk. And hopefully I'll see a number of you at choir practice tonight. And those I don't, I hope that I will see soon. But have a great week. Take care. Stay safe.